I think there are two different types of government decisions, right? One is like regulation. So regulation of crypto could be, if you go to the very far end of the spectrum, it'd be horrific. It could set the industry back 5 to 10 years, right? Like if you shut down all of the spot exchanges and you shut down a lot of the custodians and you did like what was the act in like the 1910s or 20s or 30s, whenever it was, like Act 6102, I think it was, by FDR, where he basically yanked all the gold and said now it's illegal to own gold. I think that was Act 6102.
Reversing the gold
And
standard.
yeah, and so that, like, imagine if you just made it where you said like it's illegal to hold Bitcoin in the US now. And there would be a lot of people who would revolt and a lot of people would leave the country and stuff like that, but that would be horrific for the industry. Now that won't happen anymore. Because we're past that point. And what I mean by that is like you now have a lot of the largest institutions in the world that hold Bitcoin. Every day, it's like the Lindy effect, right? Every single day that it doesn't happen and that Bitcoin is still alive, Bitcoin grows stronger. And every day, it's kind of like that. It's like every day that an institution owns Bitcoin, that another institution owns Bitcoin, the more unlikely it is that the government will heavily regulate Bitcoin. Now, I think what they'll end up doing is basically king making a couple different exchanges and custodians and things like that. So like right now there's over 100 different crypto exchanges. My guess is that in like 5 years from now, you'll probably have like 5 or 6 big ones in the US. Like the SEC and the regulators will be like, all the other ones not allowed to operate in the US. In the US, you can have FTX, Coinbase, Gemini, Kraken. Someone's gonna send me a mad email because I forgot about them. But yeah, so that's what I think happens. But then the flip side is like you can make horrible decisions as a government that will then strengthen Bitcoin. For example, the Fed printing a ludicrous amount of money, that obviously strengthened Bitcoin. That solidified the store of value narrative, pushed Bitcoin up from $3,500 to $65,000, a 20x run up in 18 months, right? You have the financial censorship in Canada that also helps Bitcoin. So there are things like that, but those decisions and like regulation are very, very different things, right?
But I feel like the most interesting thing too is that even if the government comes out and says it's all illegal, we've hit that plateau at this point where they still can't get rid of it, right? Like no matter what the actual regulatory body says about, hey, you can use these 5 exchanges. Okay, well, 5 years from now, Sushi Swap or whatever decentralized trading protocol will probably also be sophisticated enough to really handle a lot of that volume. So it's kind of an interesting, I don't know. I think from the government standpoint, yeah, they can do these things that'll absolutely impact the price and the growth rate and any institutional investors. But we're far too far along currently with what's set up.